Autobots transform and roll out.
Everyone loves it.
Princess Peach or Toad.
Yeah, go on. Raphael.
You we needed to be.
Like, what am I watching, man?
Okay, hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are with Streampunk Cinema, and we are with the wonderful, amazing, talented Mark Acheson. And you may know him in wonderful things like Elf. He was in Hulk Versus. He was in She's the Man. He was in some episodes of Smallville. He was in the Chronicle of Riddick, Stargate Infinity, Reindeer Games, The Trial of Hulk, and so much more. This guy, if I kept reading everything, we'd be here all night. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm doing wonderful. And, whenever I talk about my resume, I always say that it's much bigger than it looks.
Yeah.
I mean, much small, it's way too big. But it's all just one days and a few shots here and a few episodes there and stuff like that. I'm a lunch pail actor. I always have been. But I've been lucky enough to be in a lot of cool things. Not to forget about Watchmen, which I'm very proud of, and Fargo, first season where we won 3 Emmys. Best director, best casting, and best miniseries. So I'm proud about that too.
Well, hey, there we go. So let's start this thing off. I know everybody wants to hear the Elf questions, and don't worry, we will get there.
Sure.
But we were just talking right beforehand. I know you've got it on the tip of your tongue. Let's talk about the Trials of the Hulk.
Let me tell you about that because it was so cool. I had grown up as a kid watching Bill Bixby. I think my favorite Martian was the beginning, courtship of Eddie's father after that, and then, of course, the Hulk. And he was directing the spinoff for Daredevil at the time. And so that's when they brought me in. The thing that was really interesting about the man was that there was a room full of actors waiting to read for this part. And I went in about third or something like that. And there's another 8 guys left. And I went in and I did my bit. And he did the most abnormal thing. He came up to me and said, "You're in. Congratulations, you're in." And I was really happy. I was like, really, I never had that happen before. I'd never been given the job right in the room before. And it didn't dawn on me until I was walking out. And there were still guys waiting to read. And a couple of them I knew, like they're buddies of mine. And I just had to walk by and either think that Bill was drunk or that I actually had the part. And thank God he wasn't intoxicated. I actually got the part, but it was amazing. And I know it was one of the last things he did before he passed away, but he was so nice to me. He was so great to me.
And I mean, it's insane, the legends of people that were in that movie. Like you had Stan Lee. Did you get to meet Stan Lee?
No, I didn't get to meet him, but I did do an episode for voiceover of Hulk versus Wolverine, which is one of their most popular ones because it's gone way past the time when we did it. And I got to play Sabretooth, and I loved doing that part. I had a great time, and I got beat up by the Hulk, which I thought was kind of weird because I'd done this TV thing way back, and I was sort of with the Hulk, and now I was getting hit by the Hulk as Sabretooth way later. But I had a great time doing all of that Marvel stuff. But that was kind of cool,
And it's insane. John Davies Ramses was in the Trials of the Hulk as well.
Yeah.
And he's had an amazing career as well. And I got to meet him at a convention. So it was cool, like looking at the different things. And you mentioned the Hulk versus. I watched that growing up. I was given it as a DVD, and I watched that thing multiple times because I love the aspect of, all these big questions. Hulk versus Wolverine, is the big thing, or Hulk versus Thor, it's like who actually wins. And I think they did a really good job with that.
Oh, me too. I thought they did a great job. And there was a site that's called Voice Behind the Actors. which sort of grades you as far as your voice comparison to other actors who have done that part. And I at one time, maybe it's different now, but I won the Sabretooth contest, even past the guys that did it in the movie. You know.
Yeah.
But I remember they said, Mark, Hulk is hitting you now, and you need to make it sound like he's hit you forever, like you are traveling across the planet. He hit you so hard, and so I do that kind of screaming and begging and stuff like that really well, like in Watchmen. And so I just screamed for like, I felt like I was yodeling or something like that. It was just on and on and on. And I went, excellent. That was excellent. Of course, I couldn't speak for 2 or 3 days afterwards, but it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So what inspired you to be an actor? What got you into this?
This is a thing that is weird to me because from the age of 10, this was sort of all I really wanted to do. I went into high school, junior high school and high school theater. I went into traveling companies and did Shakespeare and Ibsen and Tennessee Williams. And then I went down to college to study acting. And that was way before film and TV. It was all staged then, right? And it's all I ever wanted to do. And so when people ask me what brought you to acting, all I can think of is it was always there for me. That was all I ever wanted to do was act. I didn't think I'd make any money in it. I thought I'd just survive, be happy, be comfortable. But the right place, the right time, the whole acting thing started to really gel with film and TV, as I got out of college and stuff. So it was a nice match, but it's all I ever wanted to do.
That's awesome. So I know we just talked about Bill, but was there a certain actor that you watched on TV that inspired you to become an actor at all?
I think they all did in a way. I loved. Of course, I identified with the heavies because that's where most of my work is. I mean, at Elf, I start as a heavy, but I become really nice and light and personal, and people like me. And I've had a couple other movies but mostly I get killed or I kill people and I die or I'm killing people or it's always kill is somewhere in the mix there somewhere. But when I did Fargo, I thought about James Gandolfini a lot because I really wanted to hit that niche, and his work, in The Sopranos was amazing to me. And it's something I wanted to duplicate. If you ever get to see the season 1 of Fargo, let me know what you think because I thought I did a pretty good shot at it. And that kind of stuff really hit me. I think The Untouchables, anywhere where it's a really tough guy, I thought that was a good niche for me because, they don't cast me as the ingenue. They don't cast me as the likable guy. And the only reason why I got Elf was because they wanted to contrast. They were, well, let's pick this guy and he looks really rough and bad and stuff like that and see what happens, and lucky for me, it worked out well.
So what I'll let you know is I've got Fargo on my list now, so I will definitely give it a watch. Probably after the Christmas season because we're busy building toys and stuff.
Sure.
But I will get that on my list, and I will definitely message you my reaction.
Look on my Instagram. There's a clip from Fargo which I've dubbed with my own soundtrack through it, and I think it's a bit cool, So check that out. But yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, so I want to get into the juiciness of one of the main reasons why I'm here is to talk about the wonderful movie Elf.
I got a call from my agent, a day before, and he said, "Mark, will you go in and read one line with Will Ferrell?" I said, "Will Ferrell? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, and I was supposed to go in and be out right away. And so I got there and I got a huge long trailer, you know, with a living room, bathroom, bed. And I thought, oh, this is kind of weird. You know, I couldn't figure this out. And then I got on a set and I had one line, which is work release. So I do it. And then John and Will are talking about back and forth. And all of a sudden they said, let's do some more. And I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea what the hell was going on. So I just went along with it. And they put a couple of notes up on the ceiling in case you wanted to, you know, have some ideas what to say and do when we were laying in the mail cart. And then it went on and on and on. And I didn't even know about the tickle fight. I mean, all of a sudden, Will Ferrell was jumping onto me with the tickle fight. And all of a sudden I realized I'm in recess. This is playtime. I just have to just like have fun and just like go for it, right? And so we got into the dancing stuff. And if you watch closely, I do an homage to John Candy, who I dearly love. I was asked to be his stand-in for a movie for the entire movie of Harry Crumb, but I turned it down because I thought we could be brothers or cousins or something like that later on, you know, a few years later. But it was like the second, third last movie you did. It was too bad. But in the dancing thing, I do the mambo, which John Candy made famous, right? And we had so much fun with that. And then at the very end, they went 22 hours that day.
Wow.
Now, you know, films days go long. 16, you know, can be easy, you know, but 22 is like weird. And I found out later it was because it was their very last day of shooting in Canada.
Oh.
They had no turnaround. They had no union hassles. John and Will could go on as long as they wanted because that was the very last day there. And so he wanted to do all sorts of things. The very last scene he set up, he said, John, he says, Mark, we want you to do a recreation of Flashdance where you have a water main that Will has pulled down, cracked open on you with hundreds of gallons of water gushing on you while you're sitting in a chair singing a Christmas carol at full volume. Can you do that for us, Mark? And we, yeah, because I was delirious because already 21 hours or something like that. And they shot that whole thing with dams all around the set so it wouldn't flood the streets and stuff like that. And they never showed, I mean, I can understand it's not in the movie. I totally get that. But why isn't it in the outtakes or something like that? Because I almost died, man. I mean, I remember going back to that beautiful long trailer, living room bath, and I was a drowned rat. Everything was dripping on me. There was water coming out of my nose, and I thought I was going to die. And nobody knew that the movie was going to be that big. I mean, nobody did. And it started to grow and grow. And then parts got easier for me. I mean, I went into She's the Man. And the director said, Mark, you know. And it was it. That was it. That was the audition. Sort of like Bill Bixby is like, you're in, man, you're in, without saying, you know. And it changed all sorts of things for me. And I've been grateful for it ever since. Really have.
I will say, and I love the scene when, like, you know, you say you're from work release, and just that, like, I love the face reaction you give. But he's like, hey, you know, I love syrup, you know, can I have some, you know? He's like, in his mind, it just looks like a bottle of syrup. But when he pours that entire thing, your face reaction, because it's like, that's the last that you have, you know? It's like, you're like, dude, I just said you could have some. I didn't say you could pour out my entire bottle. It
was all improv. And that was the beautiful thing about it was nothing was set. You know, the lines were, after work release, everything was just free. And it was wild.
And that's what I heard. Yeah, you were saying it was all improvised. So the question is, so like the bottle part, was that part of the work release? Like you had that, or did they just have that on them and then they gave it to you?
Yeah, they had that on them and they gave it to me. All I knew was I was supposed to go in there And when he asked me, where did you come from? I was supposed to go, work release, and then just walk away and just be the gruff guy, that didn't really smile or laugh or say anything.
Right.
Just, the heavy. And then all of a sudden, all this other stuff came up, and I went,
yeah,
oh my God, man, this is crazy.
You're my buddy. We're buddies now.
And Jon Favreau had such a vision. And Will Ferrell, when he came into that set, first thing he did as he walked around, he started playing with the things, right? And the first thing he did was put his hand under the suction tubes.
Yeah.
And I could see his brain going. I'm going, he's doing a thing, right? And before I knew it, in the first take, he's got his head right under that thing. And I'm going, I'm working with Chaplin here. I mean, I had to watch this stuff. I wish I had a camera with keep it, it was amazing.
So what do you remember what liquid they put? Did they put like syrup in that bottle? Did they put like soda, or do you know what liquid?
It was just tea. It was just tea.
Just tea. Okay.
Yeah. I wish it had been something else, but
I did have a question because like on IMDb your character's listed as mailroom guy. If you had the choice, what would you name your character? Like what name would you give your character?
Okay, I'm not sure, but just like Fargo, I redubbed the music to something else. They had that song, which everybody knows, right? I changed it to Lloyd Cole and the Commotions, Brand New Friend. And if you ever get a chance to listen to that song, and I also sync that, so that the crescendo of that song hits just as he's tickling me. Right. I think it really works. And so I would say that mailroom guy / friend is the billing I wish I could have got, because that's the scene that came to me was we were friends now.
Yeah, you're buddies.
All it was about. We're buddies.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man. He tickled me. He didn't even ask permission. I mean, in some areas, that's almost like assault, right? But I love the guy because he was tickling me really funny. I mean, really funny. But anyway, he had a lot of fun, and I did too. And it was just playtime the whole time.
And I love how, like, in that scene, you're like, I'm 26, and you were in your 40s when you filmed that, right?
I was 46, saying that I'm 26. And, the producers wanted to cut me out of that, the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
John.
Because they said nobody will believe you. They said nobody's going to believe this guy is 26. And Jon Favreau went back to him and said, yeah, that's the joke. He looks obviously way, way older. Nobody's going to believe that. And that's the funny part, right?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of memes where they'll be like, when I've seen like dating when they say you're 26, but reality you're like this,
Oh man, way older and stuff. And I really thank Jon Favreau for fighting and keep me in the thing, because I think I love the movie. I mean, I love the structure of it. I think it's one of the last pure classics that's been filmed for this genre, and it was simple. It didn't do anything weird, but our scene was the only scene really where he was dressed not like Elf, right? He was just normal.
And he does when he goes on the date.
Yeah, that's right too. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, it was the first time he went into the office, and then he came out into the thing, and it had sort of a different tone than the rest of the movie, and I really liked that. It sort of segued us and the thing. It was a really small, nice little scene, but it's resonated. And I'm really, really surprised by that. Not because I did anything special, but just because the chemistry seemed to work, right?
Yeah, the chemistry was amazing in that scene, and you like stole the scene, like
no,
no, you did. No, it's great. Like you said, they brought you in as a like tough looking character, and here Buddy just comes over. He's like, he's like, oh, this is like the North Pole, but it smells like mushrooms, and everyone looks like they want to hurt me.
And I had one look over my shoulder when he said that, just one look over my shoulder. I mean, it was 22 hours.
you're like, I'm not trying to get fired, dude. You're messing around over here. I'm gonna get yelled at. And then you're like, hey, buddy's like, hey, I didn't think about putting syrup in coffee, because he just tried some of the coffee for the first time, black coffee with no sugar or cream. He's like, this is disgusting.
Hated that,
Yeah, he's like, eh. And then when he saw you pour the syrup, and he's like, oh, syrup, I didn't even think about that. And you're like, yeah, you can have some that pours the entire bottle. And then it's like, it works great because it sets up the whole things with Miles flinch. Because you're trying to call, or they're trying to call, and Miles is like, "Don't hang up."
Everything's crazy.
It's like what can interrupt it? Then it's y'all dancing on the table, go whoop,
That was so cool. I had so much fun.
And it gave heart. That scene, like you said, you guys became friends, and it gave more heart, to show that wherever Buddy goes, it doesn't matter if the whole place smells like mushroom and everybody wants her.
Magic everywhere.
He made the entire room believe.
They all melt. They all change because of him. The chronometer goes up because of Elf. Everything happens because of Buddy. And it's really, really special. And not to forget this point, he turned down Elf 2, and I'm so proud of him to do that, because the money and the options would have been incredible, and he still didn't even look at it. And this guy does sequels, he'd done Rod Burgundy, and he's done sequels, right? But he didn't want to touch this. I think he gave it such a value that it's like A Wonderful Life. It's that version in our generation now, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, I was lucked out, totally lucked out. I should have bought lottery tickets that day. I really should have.
Right. And what's crazy is, and I know you're going to find this funny, I was not allowed to watch Elf growing up. And you may be asking yourself, why is that? My mom got that movie mixed up with Bad Santa. Because at the time...
You mean Billy Bob Thornton?
Yeah.
The guy I worked with in Elf. I mean, in Fargo. I worked with Billy Bob in Fargo. And he... That was the version that she thought you wanted to watch?
Yeah, because at the time, Will Ferrell didn't have a family-friendly thing because he was known for Saturday Night Live. And before Elf came out, you had Old School that came out. So raunchy stuff. And I was 6 when the movie came out. And I remember getting Wendy's toys because Wendy's did a collaboration with Elf. And I asked my mom, I do remember asking her this. I said, why can I not watch Elf? Or why is there Wendy's toys if this ain't a kid's movie and it's an adult movie? And she's like, I don't know, but you're not watching it. And then I watched, when I finally got older, I watched and I said, Mom, look, this is I had to convince her. I'm like, yo, this is a family-friendly movie. And then she watched it. It's like, oh. And then we figured out what movie she was actually talking about, which was Bad Santa. I still haven't watched Bad Santa.
Yeah, I mean, a different kind of thing altogether.
Yeah. So all right. Another thing I would like to know is, what was one of your who out of the hold on, let me re-ask this. Sorry. Out of all the people that you have met just in life, has there been any actors that have given you advice that stuck with you?
Actors don't usually give advice to other actors. We have we have a respect for each other's craft.
Or usually. Any just encouraging words that just kept you going or anything like that. That's what, maybe not exactly advice, or maybe not it was vice.
I've been encouraged by many people, I remember I did a movie called Pittsburgh with Danny DeVito, Dave Chappelle, and Norm Macdonald. And Norm Macdonald was a huge impact person on. I thought he was one of the funniest comedians ever. And we were shooting, and he came up to me while we were having lunch, and he said, "Mark, you don't know me. I haven't met you. but we lost the funding for this movie, and we had to find another way to finance it. And we took some of the audition pieces to get the money to finance this, and yours is one of the pieces that we used to get the money back. And that hit me. That hit me a lot. You know, I've had very kind people say very nice things to me, you know, and or treat me nice. I remember there's so many things where people just once Hot Rod, okay, that was a cameo I did for Andy Samberg and Bill Hader. It was a movie, SNL kind of thing, and again, they didn't audition me. They just called me and said, "Will you be our homeless guy for the day?" And they were really nice, and they treated me like, "Oh, you held your own with Will Ferrell, so you're cool with us," you know. And it was so warm and fun, and I've had a few things like that. So I'm just yeah.
So it's amazing to know that Elf helped your career. So when you guys were filming this, I know I've talked to like how you've seen. I talked to Favreau. I showed you the picture of me and him. And when I talked to him, he was telling me that Will didn't think the movie would be successful.
He didn't, and neither did James Caan. Both of them didn't think it was going to be successful. And do you see how big Favreau became after that? I mean, he became huge, but Favreau, I mean, the guy is a giant. I mean, as far as Star Wars and stuff like that, it is off the charts, right?
I mean, he's in the MCU, you know, as Happy.
He did the first Iron Man.
Yes.
Oh man, I mean, he was so visionary, and he used a soundtrack in the trailer for Iron Man, which you can't use. It was a nice shot. Hey man, nice shot by Filter. And it was so expensive to use. He only used it for the trailer for Iron Man, but he couldn't afford it for the actual movie. But that's how keyed in he was about the sound and the picture and everything working out. And now, I mean, he's a giant, right? He's a giant. And a lot of people were surprised by Elf. A lot of people were, including me. I mean, I'll be honest, right? And then when people started coming up to me, asking me for pictures, autographs, recognize me all the time. And this is, I mean, sometimes I get recognized, you know, because of whatever, but most of the time I'm a killer, I'm a bad guy, and nobody wants to come up and talk to me. But because I was that guy in Elf, they go, "Hey, oh man, you know, you're the guy, you know, like," and then you know, and it's all warm and fuzzy, and it was a wonderful thing for me, and it gave me a chance to really connect with people, and I dearly enjoyed it. And it gets worse and worse and worse every year. I mean, I'm doing like, you know, 5 or 6 interviews now. And when it gets to year 25, it'll be even worse, right? Because it's a classic. It is.
It just last year was the 20th anniversary on in theaters, but this year was the 20th anniversary of being on VHS and DVD. And here's a sealed copy, still sealed from Walmart from 2004.
What a collector, man. You are the real Elf dude. You are. I mean, you are.
I collect a lot of stuff, and it's cool. I've been playing the character since 2017 or no 2016. I've been playing the character, and everybody around town knows that I'm Buddy. So I've had people come up to me. They had like these like solar bobbleheads of Buddy. And one year I was given 5 of the same item. So I saw it and I had to get you. And then somebody that knew me got me the VHS tape, and I've never opened it because I'm like, I'm a collector and stuff. And
that's big money later on. I mean, that's already big money, but that's sweet. That's a sweet catch. It really is.
Yeah, and it's like being like, it's incredible, like the different things that have came out. Like they've made a Buddy the Elf action figure. You know,
oh my God! I mean, there are Buddy Elf comic books. There's Philharmonic orchestras with the movie playing. There's you can go and see it in big theaters right now. You can go into a dozen different theaters around me and see Elf right now on the big screen. I mean,
Like,
where do you see that before?
There's,
Oh, there you go.
They made the book, you know, and
Well,
yeah,
actually,
no, that's actually
Pillsbury bakes cookies with Elf on it. I mean, everybody's going Elf crazy.
Yeah, here's that little bobblehead thing I was talking about.
Oh, that's
yeah,
so cute.
I was given vibes. So what I started doing is I go to another thing I wanted to talk to you about, because I know you have went, and I want to know if you got any coming up next year. Do you think you have any conventions coming up anytime soon?
Well, I mean, I actually, you know, I'm semi-retired. You know, I
Yes.
do the odd thing, you know, on camera, but mostly only when they ask me. You know, I don't go out and but I do, and I hate saying do together. I do conventions mostly for My Little Pony, because I was Lord Tyrek in
Yes.
that 8 or 10 seasons, and those people are bronies, and they're very, very heavy fans. And
Right.
then I have some other cartoons and stuff, and then the sci-fi, I go to a couple of conventions, but there's been no like Elf conventions yet or anything like that. But I would love to get in one.
My question, so I know you're from Canada. Do you still live in Canada, or are you now in the States?
No, I live in Canada.
Okay.
I'm not part of the 51st state yet.
51st state, right? And yeah, they've made all kinds of merchandise. Like I've got.
Oh my god! Yeah, the Etch a Sketch. This is so cool, man. I mean, there is no end to the marketing, you know.
No.
And it's shocking to me because I mean, I've been given glasses and cups and pictures and novels and, you know, event calendars and all
Christmas
sorts of
cards. You know, your face.
Oh
is
my
so
god!
pretty,
I got an even better Christmas card than that. I wish I could bring it out, but oh my god.
Hold on. Yeah, we got the.
Oh man.
This ain't the talking one, but they've made talking cards. Yeah, no, like literally, like I said, I've got so much elfing merchandise that.
Well, you know how well they marketed this, and nobody knew that at the time, right? Nobody thought it was like it would be a Star Wars where you can, you know, market it afterwards, or anything like that. But it became huge. I want you to do me a favor, though, okay?
Yeah.
There's been a few stories, you know, in the past few years about Elf, the cast. Where are they now? And hardly ever. Very. Do they ever mention me? And I've always been amazed by that because I've had a pretty active career after that.
Yeah.
You know, most of my big work and my features came after Elf because of Elf. And yet I'm never, so when you keep me in the limelight, when you give me a little bit of exposure, you remind people that I was in that wonderful movie, and they should talk about me when they talk about the cast. They should talk about me.
Yeah.
Just with the cast, right?
I literally, since my and your conversation, every single person I've been in contact with, or like today, I made a Facebook post. I didn't want to tag the name until, you know, we actually did our interview.
You were really, really cool about that. I saw 2 different posts, and you were like, you know, telling about this and that, but you didn't mention my name, and I thought that was so cool. I really did, because, you know, I could have dropped dead, you know, this afternoon and ruined it or something like that. But anyway, you were cool about that.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to let people know, because I was excited. 2, I wasn't 100. I'll be honest, I wasn't 100% if that was legit Instagram or not, because people do make fake profiles nowadays.
It happens.
And it didn't have like a check mark or anything. But I looked at your page and I'm like, this would be a lot of work for somebody to actually schedule it.
Somebody have to be busy for a while to fake that thing.
Yeah. And then so that's why I was like, okay, I have a really good feeling. I'm 100. And then I started like looking up different interviews. I'm like, okay, this guy does interviews. So I was like, okay, we're going to post, because my Facebook page, everybody I know does Buddy, or I mean, knows I do Buddy. And like, for example, I do Buddy on TikTok too. So me and my work brain, Faison, we did a video at the convention. We did a video at the convention, and the video has like 720,000 views. on TikTok. I just posted it earlier this month.
Wow.
And it was so funny because Faison messes up on his lines. He does the 10 a.m. Santa's coming to town. And I'm like, Santa, I know him. I don't add the OMG part.
Yeah, right.
But I was like, I know him. And then he's like, you'll be able to get it when you pick up all the medicines. And I just die laughing on the ground because that is not the line at all. And I just posted it, and everybody was like, it was cool going. So like I said, my Facebook, a lot of people know I do Elf. So that's why I wanted to be like, hey guys. And if you saw, that post has like over 100 likes and stuff. So what we'll do is, once this is, we're over and stuff, I will make a post, and then we'll show, who I actually got to interview, and I will tag your Instagram so we can get people over to your Instagram as well. Being able to interview you right now, it's like an elfing dream, because you mentioned, they've been talking about Elf, especially with Elf being the 20th anniversary, and a lot of the cast members, I hate to say it, have passed away now.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
And people that, like you say, like the one that shocks me the most that wasn't advertised much was when Buddy's boss, the boss guy, I forget what his Michael, I can't think what his last name, but he's the one that yells, that makes Buddy's dad work on Christmas.
Okay.
He passed away.
I remember, Bob Newhart, Edward Asner,
Yes.
Of course, and James Caan.
James Caan.
He did not understand this movie at all, and he did not dig Will Ferrell at all, but he was good, man. He was good,
So out of the Elf cast, I know you were only there for that day, but have you gotten to meet all the cast members now, or they're...
I mean, no. I mean, I work with some. So I've been lucky to work with so many people like Omar Sharif and Ben Affleck, and I mean Kirk.
Reindeer Games.
Everybody I've worked with, and I would love to see them or meet them again or work with them again, but that's only because it was so sweet the first time. But the only person that is on that cast that I know personally is the guy that brought Will Ferrell into the mailroom, the head of the mailroom, Robin Mosley. He has a few lines, and he brings Will into the. And Robin and I have been friends for 40 years. And,
are you sure this is the mailroom? It doesn't look so shiny.
You know the lines by heart, man.
Yeah.
It's really incredible. But every Christmas or his birthday, I always say Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday from all the guys in the mailroom, just to show them how much that I still love them and appreciate them, because we're Canadians,
Well, now you'll have to tell him Merry Christmas from all the people in the mailroom and Buddy the Elf.
I will, and I did an interview with People Magazine 2 days ago, and I mentioned him again too, because they asked me the same question: do you have any contact with any of the cast? And I said, just the Canadian people, and Robin is my good old buddy, and so that was my answer.
Yeah, that was one thing I was doing the other day, is I was looking up, trying to find the different people that have been in Elf and see who I can reach out. And I'll be honest, you're the first person I messaged on Instagram, and I love the quick response. You're like, of course. I was like, I was freaking out. I'll be, you were the first person. I love
the movie, just like you love the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a resonance that transcends time. I mean, it's been 23 years, man. I did a 1 day's work, 22 hours, 1 day's work on a movie 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
And it changed everything. And we're still talking about it. We're still talking about it. And I'm going, what the hell's going on? But I realized I was part of something much, much bigger, much more special than I can comprehend. But I was lucky. And you pay homage with what you do and how you ask and how you present yourself about this. And that's really special to me. And that's why I responded so quickly, because I looked at you and went, well, he's committed. I mean, he's in there. He's really, fully engaged. he's involved, you know, and he believes it, and I believe you with.
I'm not a fake. I don't sit on.
I don't believe you're a fake for not for a second. I wouldn't have done this interview if I thought you were.
And I don't smell like beef and cheese either.
No, that's too bad because I like beef and cheese.
Oh, okay, for you, I may smell like beef and cheese.
Okay.
Oh, and I forgot, it does talk. So yeah, it's talking and the lights light up.
Oh, dude, you got so many cool things. Listen, I want you to do me a favor. Yes,
sir.
In a year or two, when we're back to Christmas again, go ahead and contact me if there's anything else that I can add to the story, anything else that will make your site better and fill the picture out from what it was like shooting it that one day out of all those days that other people shot it. I'd be happy to, because I'm proud and I'm really, really happy about anything to do with this movie. I really appreciate it.
Definitely would love to stay in contact. Before we go, because I know we are about to wrap up, is there anything, I checked out, you got some upcoming projects. Is there anything you want to promote? I know there's a couple things that was listed on your IMDb. I know you're about to do a short that's supposed to release.
A Lunar Sway, I just finished that. A love story in the desert, and that was a lot of fun. There's a movie I did a couple of years ago called The Never Broken, which a short, which just won all sorts of awards and things like that at the film festivals. I'm very proud of that. But mostly, I'm just grateful just to be still relevant. You know, this late in my life, I'm 67. And I can't believe I'm talking about something that I did when I was 46 at 67. I can't.
No, you're only 47 according to Elle.
The key to that whole laughing thing was when I took a second. You know, I started laughing and I looked at him like, and then I went, "Yeah, he's being serious." And I laughed even harder. That was the key to how it was. Anyway. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
And last,
Merry Christmas, brother.
Where can Merry Christmas?
Yeah.
Where can these wonderful people find you on the Insta? I know you got Instagram. Do you want to plug that where they can find you?
Well, there's Instagram, but there's Mark Acheson fans on Facebook. You know, because I can't take any more people on my regular site. But
you're on the Instagram.
Anything that goes through you and the own channel to me, I'll be very diligent. I appreciate every single person that thinks about my work. I mean, if anybody thinks about my work at this point in my life, I am truly grateful. And I thank you so much for giving me the spotlight for a little while. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. And if I don't ask this question, they would be ashamed of anybody else. Sir, what is your favorite color?
Because it's Christmas, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're with the wonderful Mark Acheson, and I appreciate you guys. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you later.
Merry Christmas, brother.